Welcome to SA News Weekly News Update. We'll cover the top stories from across the United States, important developments worldwide, and new insights from the world of health and science.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency moved this week to relax rules limiting toxic wastewater releases from coal-fired power plants. The existing rule requires plants to control pollutants, such as heavy metals, that can enter rivers and streams through wastewater and groundwater. The agency said the rollback is intended to reduce costs for power producers at a time when electricity demand is rising. The change is especially relevant as power use increases from data centers, artificial intelligence infrastructure, and broader electrification. Environmental groups are likely to challenge the move, arguing that coal wastewater can carry pollutants harmful to drinking water, fish, and surrounding communities. Power companies, meanwhile, have argued that compliance costs can be high for aging plants. This story matters because it connects energy reliability, environmental protection, public health, and the growing demand for electricity in the United States. The final outcome could affect how coal plants operate for years to come.
U.S. scientists are warning that the termination of the National Science Board could weaken America's ability to compete in research and innovation. The board has historically advised on long-term science priorities and helped guide the National Science Foundation. The concern is that removing or weakening such a body may reduce independent scientific input into national research strategy. Scientists say this could affect areas such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, materials research, climate science, and biomedical discovery. The issue comes at a time when global scientific competition is intensifying. Countries are investing heavily in advanced technologies, and long-term research decisions often shape economic and national competitiveness. This story did not receive the same attention as major political headlines, but it could have long-term consequences. Decisions about science governance rarely create immediate public impact, yet they influence what gets funded, which discoveries move forward, and whether young researchers see a stable future in American science.
The Panama Canal Authority said it does not plan to restrict ship passages for the rest of 2026, even if El Niño conditions bring renewed drought risk later this year. The canal depends heavily on freshwater lakes to move ships through its lock system. In recent years, drought forced limits on vessel traffic, affecting global shipping routes and raising costs for companies moving goods between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The latest statement is significant because the canal is one of the world's most important trade routes. Any reduction in daily ship crossings can affect supply chains, shipping schedules, fuel use, and consumer prices. Officials are signaling confidence that current water management and reservoir conditions can support operations. Still, the situation remains closely watched because drought, rainfall patterns, and global trade demand can change quickly. This is a climate, trade, and infrastructure story all at once.
Health authorities confirmed a new Ebola outbreak in Ituri province in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Reports indicate dozens of deaths and more than 200 suspected cases, with regional coordination underway because of the risk of cross-border spread. The outbreak involves serious public health challenges. Ituri has high population movement, mining activity, and strained health infrastructure. Uganda has also reported a related death involving a Congolese patient, raising concern among neighboring countries. Ebola spreads through contact with infected bodily fluids and can be deadly without rapid isolation, treatment, and contact tracing. The strain under investigation is especially important because some vaccines are designed for specific Ebola variants and may not apply equally to all strains. The World Health Organization and Africa CDC are supporting response efforts, including surveillance, testing, and coordination with neighboring countries. This story deserves attention because a disease outbreak in one region can quickly become a broader public health concern if not contained early.
A rural recovery story has been reported from Farmana Badshahpur village in Mayam Tahsil of Rohtak district, Haryana, where hundreds of acres of farmland were reportedly restored after months of severe waterlogging. According to SA News, about 700 acres of agricultural land had remained under 4 to 5 feet of dirty water for several months. The report says paddy crops were destroyed, wheat sowing appeared impossible, and many farmers feared long-term damage to their land and livelihood. The report states that after the village panchayat approached the ashram of Sant Rampalji Maharaj, support was arranged in the form of 12,000 feet of 8-inch pipeline, 2 20-horsepower motors, and related equipment, including cables, starters, joints, and other materials. SA News says these resources were provided as a permanent solution for the village, rather than temporary relief. Drainage work reportedly began immediately and continued day and night.
Within about 1.5 to 2 months, the accumulated water was removed, and the report says the fields became cultivable again. SA News further reports that around 98% of the land now has wheat cultivation, roads that were earlier submerged are visible again, and agricultural activity has resumed. For farming families, this kind of recovery is not just about land. It affects income, food production, daily labor work, and confidence in the next crop cycle. The Farmana Badshahpur case is being presented by SA News as an example of how timely drainage infrastructure can help a village move from waterlogging and crop loss toward renewed agricultural activity.
And that wraps up this week's bulletin. Thank you for joining SA News, and we'll see you next week. Truth that you want to know.